I woke up first this morning. I got up quietly. You were still asleep, your face relaxed, one hand under your cheek as usual. I stood there for a second and just looked at you. The way you were breathing, evenly. The way you looked here, in the honeysuckle of our camper van, with the window above your head, letting in the early Florida light. You look right at home, because you are home. We are home, no matter where we are. I made coffee and went outside. The campsite was still asleep, only the birds. Florida wakes up with the birds, loudly, brightly, without warning. A bright red cardinal was sitting on a branch right next to me, looking with that expression that means, "This is my tree." "Yours," I told him out loud. He flew away, satisfied. Breakfast, together again. You got up when the smell of coffee reached the bed. I know this moment by heart. First you turn to the other side, then you stretch, then you open one eye, and then the coffee wins. You came out in a t-shirt and shorts, your hair tousled, your eyes still sleepy. So cute. "Good morning," you said hoarsely. "Good," I answered and held out the mug. You took it, sipped, closed your eyes with pleasure. "What today?" you asked. "John Pennekamp," I said. "Corals, fish, underwater world." You opened your eyes, that spark, familiar, native. Let's go. John Pennekamp Coral Reef State Park, the first underwater park in America. You told me about it back home. You said it was one of the best coral reefs off the coast of the United States, that the water is so clear that even from the shore you can see the bottom, that turtles live there, real, big, ancient ones. I listened and imagined, but my imagination turned out to be too modest. We arrived early. While there were still few tourists on the way, we stopped at the local market because you needed something. We parked the camper van and walked to the center of the park on foot. Already on the way, mangroves, birds, that special silence that only happens in natural places. Not dead silence, alive, full of sounds but without human noise, and here you stopped. "Look," he said quietly. On the path, 2 meters from us, stood an iguana. Big, almost a meter long, with that jagged ridge along its back, with those ancient eyes that look at you and don't see anything special. Green, with reddish spots, absolutely calm. I froze. "It's big," I whispered. "It lives here," you said just as quietly. "We're visiting." The iguana looked at us for a long time with that majesty that only animals have that know that they're afraid of them and not them. Then slowly, without haste, it walked into the bushes. It just walked, as if we were part of the landscape. "Now that's a meeting," I exhaled. You smiled. We took masks and flippers. We rented them right there in the center of the park. You helped me adjust the mask, hands on my face, a careful look, checked for leaks. "Ready?" "Ready." We got in the water, and the world changed. I don't know how to describe it to someone who's never swam above a coral reef. It's another planet. It's something that exists parallel to our world, always, every second, and we don't even suspect it. The corals, not gray and dead like in the photos in the textbooks, alive, pink, purple, orange, shaped like trees and bushes and fans. They grow and move with the current, slowly, like breathing, and between them, fish, thousands of fish, bright yellow with black stripes. Angelfish, you told me the name later. Blue-green ones. The parrotfish that nibbles coral and makes that white sand on Florida beaches. I didn't know that. Silver schools that move all together. One body, one turn, as if someone were guiding them with an invisible conductor. I swam and turned my head in all directions and didn't know where to look. Then you touched my shoulder underwater. I turned. You pointed down. A turtle. It swam beneath us, slowly, majestically, with that calm power that only very ancient creatures have. Its large shell, dark brown, with a pattern that looked like a map of some unknown world. Its flippers moved smoothly. It wasn't rowing, it was flying, underwater. I froze. The turtle swam closer and looked at me. Her eyes, dark, calm, without fear. She looked at me and I looked at her, and there was something between us. Some second of understanding. We are both here, both alive, both amazed. Then she slowly went deeper, greater and greater distance between us, until she merged with the blue water. I raised my head above the water. I took off my mask. You raised your head too. We looked at each other. Did you see? You asked. I saw, I said. And I felt that I would cry now, simply from the beauty. Simply from the fact that it exists in the world. Simply from the fact that you are nearby and we saw it together. We swam for a long time. We went out to rest on the shore. You told the names of the fish we saw. I listened and thought, how does he know all this? How does it fit into his memory? How smart is he? And the crocodile? I asked. You said there was one here. There is, you said. An American crocodile, a rare species. It lives in the mangrove area of the park. And we're going there? You looked at me. Do you want to? I thought for a second. I imagined it. A crocodile. Big, with teeth. No, I said honestly. You laughed. The right decision. The turtle and I have already met, I said. That's enough for today. The day went on. We walked along the park's trails. There are paths over the mangrove forest, wooden decks over the water where the tree roots protrude above the surface like bizarre sculptures. You walked ahead and sometimes extended your hand, and where it was uneven, where it was slippery, and I took it not because I couldn't do it myself, but because I wanted to. We stopped and looked at the birds. The heron, gray, tall, motionless above the water, stood so long that I decided it was a sculpture. Then it struck the water with its beak and lifted its head with a fish. She's a better fisherman than I am, you said seriously. A lot, I agreed. We returned to the camper van, tired, that sweet tiredness that comes after a day lived to the fullest. The sun, the water, the underwater world that had been before our eyes until now. Pink corals, yellow fish, a turtle flying in the blue water. You said, get ready nicely, dinner on the beach. I looked at you. Have you prepared anything? You'll see. I put on that floral dress. Light, my favorite. I let my hair down. A little perfume, the warm one, with wood and sweetness. I looked at myself in the small camper van mirror. That wild cat was looking back, tanned with salt in her hair, with eyes that sparkled after a day on the water. I smiled to myself. Here she is, the real me, the happy version of me that had been buried deep somewhere for so long. You found a place, a small beach behind the campsite, almost deserted in the evening. You set up a folding table, 2 chairs. You laid out what you had bought, fresh seafood, bread, fruit, wine in a thermos because glass is not allowed on the beach. A candle, one in a glass so the wind wouldn't blow it out, was burning on the table. I stopped when I saw it. When did you have time? I asked quietly. While you were getting ready, you said simply. I looked at you in that evening light with the ocean behind you burning golden from the sunset. You stood and looked at me with that look. in love, happy, alive, with a spark in your eyes. Come on, you said, and pushed back your chair. We ate slowly. Seafood, fresh, with lemon. Bread that I bought in the morning at a small market. Wine, cold, white, perfect for the sea air. We talked about the day, about the turtle, about that iguana that looked at us like a minor inconvenience. We laughed, easily, naturally, the way people who are good together laugh. The sun was setting, and the sky over the ocean was changing. Orange, then pink, then that deep purple that happens in the last minutes before darkness. I watched and thought, how many sunsets like this we missed. How many evenings we each sat in our own screens. We won't do it again. Thank you, I said suddenly. For what? For all this, I said. For coming, for changing, for taking me with you, both on the journey and into this new life. You were silent for a second. You looked at me. It's us, you finally said. Not me. Us. I reached out my hand across the table. You took it. Immediately. Firmly. We sat and held each other's hands and watched the last light fade over the ocean. The candle burned. The waves roared. And I thought, we are one team, one path, one whole. These are not just words. You can feel it. With your whole body, with your whole soul. Then the stars came out. And we stayed on the beach. We cleared the table, put towels on the sand. We lay down next to each other and looked up. Orion, already familiar. You showed me new constellations. Canis Major, Orion, Sirius, which burns brighter than all of them. The brightest star in the sky, you said. Why is it so bright? Because it's close, you answered. And it's big. But most importantly, close. I turned my head and looked at you. How are you? I said quietly. You turned around, looked at me, for a long time, in the dark, with the stars above your head. And that evening on the beach under the Florida stars, we baked the most tender cupcake. With the wind from the ocean and the sand under the towels and the feeling that the world is big and beautiful, and we are in it. Together, one whole, one path, forever. Dear listener, yes, the world is big and beautiful and we are in it, together as one whole. Look for your one whole, and when you find it, hold it and never let go, firmly, the way he holds my hand. Thank you for being with me. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will continue to tell our stories. Until the next episode, bye.